This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 in order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there and welcome back to another episode of This Song Is Yours. I'm your host Simon Fink, and today we have the incredible Melbourne singer-songwriter Phoebe Go on this very podcast. Phoebe is set to make waves with the release of her debut album Marmalade later this week, and let me tell you, it's an absolute gem of a record. Now, while this may be her first solo venture, you might recognise Phoebe from some of her previous projects, including Snackadactyl, Two People and Phoebe Lou. With Marmalade, Phoebe has truly come into her own, and let me tell you, it's currently holding the title of my favourite Australian album of the year thus far. We'll explore the inspirations behind her music and uncover the stories behind the songs that make Marmalade such a standout release. One particular exciting aspect of the album is Phoebe's collaboration with none other than our dear friend of the podcast, Christian Lee Hutson. We'll get the inside scoop on how this dynamic partnership came to be and the magic that they created together. Additionally, we'll chat with Phoebe about her journey into the world of songwriting, from her early beginnings to the evolution of her craft. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I want to extend a huge thank you to Liv for her invaluable assistance in making this episode happen. And don't forget, for more information on Phoebe Go and everything else you need to know about This Song Is Yours, be sure to check out today's show notes. So let's dive into the magic of Marmalade and get into our conversation with Phoebe Go. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Phoebe Go. Phoebe, hello. How are things?
Hello. Things are good. Things are really good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my absolute pleasure, and very excited to have you on. It's an incredibly exciting time for you, and I'm also just excited as I think that, and not being hyperbolic or simply because we're chatting face to face today, one of my favourite Australian songwriters of the last few years. But yeah, super stoked to have you on the podcast. So thank you so much for kind of giving us some time to chat.
Thanks. That's really nice. It's nice to hear.
Of course. We're here to chat because there's a brand new debut record from yourself, Marmalade. I found myself singing Lady Marmalade this morning when getting prepped, and I think that's thrown me. Firstly, congratulations on this record.
I'm going to change it now. Thanks. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's really exciting.
Of course, and as you should be. It's a gorgeous kind of collection of songs, and I know that for some people that they might know and some people who might not know, this isn't the first release from yourself, but it is under the Phoebe Go kind of moniker. You've released records in many different kind of projects before. How is this one feeling in terms of differing from those previous releases, I guess?
This feels like my own, so it feels very different. But yeah, as soon as the EP was made and I put that out 2022, I felt very at home in it and just like, I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. So yeah, it feels great. It was a little more daunting than probably anything I'd put out before, just because I was so at the front of it, and I had no one to hide behind, behind the scenes or in just in the nature of it, it's just a little freakier, but I found that to be very rewarding as well, especially in the way that I could connect with people and sort of things just came with a bit more ease, which was unexpected but sick. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I was curious, I guess, with that freedom or with it being just yourself, does that give you more territory to kind of look at yourself in terms of you've got overarching kind of rule on the artwork, on how things sound. There's no, or there's collaboration when you want it to be, but it's on your terms.
Yeah. Yeah. It helped. It helped me be as honest as I wanted to be with the whole thing. I mean, especially lyrically, like when you're in a band, you just don't say the stuff that that you would otherwise, because it's so personal, and there's sort of another veil there or something, like a protective something, just to protect the project from being like way too personal. So I just went full tilt with the way too personal, because why not? I find it really fun.
I think that this record is all the better for it. So I'm glad that you kind of did decide to go in that direction with it. As you mentioned, the EP, the Player EP, which is out in 2022, this is the kind of first batch of new songs since then. I'm curious, was there a clear indication that you were going to be writing an album, or was it just that you kind of had these collection of songs and realised this is the record?
I had a plan to write a bunch of songs. I didn't know if it would be another EP or 2 EPs or an album. I took myself away for a couple of weeks at the time that I was kind of ready to dive back into writing. And, I guess one song at a time, found myself realising that it was an album. And I like that it's not a 20-track album. I wanted to do something that was like bite size, or like a nice introductory album. But so it's 8 tracks. It's sort of somewhere in between, but it feels to me like a moment in time. And sometimes that, even though it's not a conceptual album, it feels like a time in my life, and for that reason I thought it felt right to make it a record and not just split it up as 8 singles kind of thing.
100%. Do you remember the first track that you wrote for this record?
It was Marmalade.
Oh, interesting.
Which is the 3rd track on the album. Cute name. Cute name, sad story. But that was the first one. The songs really sort of revealed themselves as I went, and I'm trying to remember what was 2nd or 3rd, but I'm not even sure. It was, I didn't have a clear idea of what it had to be when I was writing it. When I set out to write it, I just sort of showed up and let it kind of happen.
Would you say that's the usual, I guess, creative process for yourself, in terms of just not forcing anything, allowing things to kind of percolate on their own time and then reveal themselves?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think so. Like, I often find that it's when I get myself out of the way that's when, I find the most, I find the line that makes the most sense, or I kind of get closer to that beautiful thing that I'm looking for. So, I try not to ever assume total control over the songwriting process, because this sounds weird and witchy, but I don't think I have total control. I think I can tune into something and like draw on my life, but it's fucking weird as a thing. Like it's pretty mysterious and so I took that approach with this album, and it was about kind of just saying it how it is, and I didn't want to get too tricky or poetic about it. I just wanted to kind of be raw and not kind of strive for that perfection or safety. Just I was looking for comfort, I think, just in life around things. Life got uncomfy, so I had to find it somehow, and I feel like my process is usually about finding comfort through songwriting and through honesty.
100%. This record, I think, it kind of audibly comes across as that in a way. Like there is a, and I mean this in a complimentary way, that there's like a well-worn quality to these songs, that they feel comforting, that they feel like in some kind of familiar sense when you're listening to them without ever being something that you've heard before, if that makes sense, that there's a kinship already built into the tracks, which is kind of a really lovely and magical thing to do. That's
nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, we didn't overwork the songs. You know, each song we recorded this is Simon and I, my friend and producer. Mm-hmm. We just sort of tried to follow what the song wanted to do, and we weren't going for anything crazy. It's just they're just songs, you know.
As you kind of said before, not to sound like too witchy, but like songwriting is this funny thing. We spoke to a UK artist about this recently, in that whereas like if you're making a movie, you've got reference points to be like, I want it to look like this, I want it to look like this. But songwriting can be that you're just pulling things out of air in a way.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a much more intricate, delicate, crazy craft to be able to kind of create some of these things.
Yeah, it is. It is delicate and so rewarding, but like so weird. And every time I go back into a songwriting like phase, or even just a day that I feel like writing something, I sort of somehow still surprised by the fact that part of the act of songwriting is not to know how to do it. Part of the job is to it's to break the rule. It's like if you write a song and you try and do the same one again, no one's going to like that. No one wants that. So it's about like having no idea how to do your job in a way. I don't know. It's weird.
It's a weird but wonderful kind of thing. I know. Yeah. I know you just mentioned Simon, your producer. I believe that there was maybe one or two other collaborators or people that kind of have, had little bits and pieces. I want to say mutual friend, but I'm going to probably say that you're probably better friends than we are. We've had him on the podcast a few times. We were filming something with him in Melbourne last year, the lovely Christian Lee Hutson.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm working with some Melbourne artists, but I can't really talk about it. And then I believe that might have been yourself, if I'm correct.
Yeah. He was a big collaborator on a few of the songs, and just became a wonderful friend through music. And when he was in Australia, we had him in the studio, and we were writing in this interesting way, like where we were just sort of sending each other the voice memos and, back and forth things, like just via kind of text, which was really cool. I'd never done that before. But I'm such a fan of his music, and and he had a particularly sweet way of like interrogating me and what was going on in my life, and getting the juicy stuff out, which, not many songwriters. I think that's sort of an art that's missed at the moment in songwriting. There's sessions like every other day. and there's a million songs that never make it out of the hard drive, I'm sure, especially in, you know, these big cities and stuff. But yeah, Chris took this like other approach where he was like, you know, what's going on, Phoebes? How you feeling? And I was like, fuck. I've never done that with anyone before, and it was really nice. Yeah, so a few of the songs he played guitars on, he rips on guitar like it's crazy. I mean, I have no technical ability on guitar at all, so that was a pleasure to watch in the studio. But yeah, a few of the songs we co-wrote, and I think one of them will be on his upcoming record too. Like we just wrote songs and they're just finding their place. But yeah.
That's very exciting to hear. Well, any further future collaborations, obviously very excited to hear two brilliant songwriters. So that's, always an absolute delight. I was wondering if you might indulge me a little bit. We were very lucky enough to have a listen to the record before it comes out later this week when this episode airs. I was wondering if you could please indulge me in kind of telling us a little bit more. My favourite track on the record was Good Fight. I just found myself kind of coming back to this lovely mid-tempo acoustic folk rock kind of track. Can you tell us a bit about where this track kind of was born from or came from?
Yeah, this song was co-written with Chris, actually.
Oh.
Me from the floor and him from LA, I think, like in his home on his piano. So this was one of those ones. It originally was, he sent me, I don't know if it was guitar or piano, but the chords in the chorus he sent me. And he was just sort of humming on top of it. It was like, yes, something around the melody in the chorus. It was a little like, kind of hum along voice memo thing. And I just loved how it felt, and I ended up sending back, an hour or so later, like that first verse. I think it's like that I made you dinner. I don't know. You'll hear it. I don't know. But it's pretty Devo lyrically.
Might be why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I loved it because of that, like that just straight up kind of this is how it is approach. But yeah, I sent back like that I'm scared and I'm bored at the same time thing in the chorus and the first verse, and then it was a song, like kind of pretty quickly. Yeah, but this song was kind of more, I mean, the writing process came with ease. It was pretty painless, but the production side, me and Simon, we had a few different attempts. It took us a minute to figure out what it would sound like, and it started off way rockier, like real rocky, and then we kind of reined it in from there. But yeah, I'm glad you liked that one. Thanks.
Look, of course. Thank you for letting me have a listen to it. Again, it's a fantastic track and fantastic album. When you and Simon are in the studio, are you listening to much other music to kind of help influence the sonics of your own music, or is it something where you kind of try and keep those external or outside of the sanctuary, if you will?
Yeah, I don't recall us ever really listening to anything in the studio. I mean, when Simon's mixing, we have references for that, and I know he uses like side-by-side references for some parts of the mixing process, but yeah, there was nothing really direct that we were trying to
like emulate.
Emulate, yeah, like sonically, I think it was more just like let's expand a little on the EP, on the world of the EP. We wanted to keep it like, you know, really kind of minimal in moments, and if anything, it was like the thing we wanted to lean a little bit more into was like some kind of playful tone, which, you know, is part of my character, and like he knows how to capture that, especially in, you know, when I'm in the booth or whatever, vocal booth. So, but yeah, in terms of like specific production stuff, like I think we were more so just kind of trying to serve each song, and yeah, and the Phoebe Go world is like at the moment kind of limited to guitars and drums and vocals and the occasional piano, but like, yeah, we were never like, well, let's do trumpet. Let's make this the trumpet record. Maybe that'll be next.
Next record, yeah.
Yeah.
You just mentioned like playful being a part of the character. I was hoping that you might share the track was released last year. I think for a lot of people, I saw it personally on a lot of Hottest 100 kind of votes for something you were trying. The lead single from the record, would we say that? Yeah. And in terms of the playful character, I was hoping you might talk to us about the music video, because I was not expecting that kind of video from that kind of track. Yeah. Listening to the song, gorgeous song, and then watching the video, like I love the video now, but where did the flipping of the Bigfoot trope kind of come from?
Yeah, what the hell are you thinking? So my friend Dean made that video, and he's made that artwork too, or done the photographs for my EP and album artwork. He's a dear friend, and I sent him the song just to be like, hey, like this is coming out first, I think. Do you have any ideas? And, you know, you never know quite what to expect with Dean, which is what makes him so lovable. But he replied with this like, okay, bear with me, like, I'm just, you know, thinking out loud here, but I'm seeing Bigfoot. I'm seeing like you isolated and a flip, like a reverse world where blah, blah, blah. I just remember reading that and just like cacking up laughing. I thought it was so ridiculous. But for some reason, it just kind of felt like a fun idea as well. And yeah, so we just went for it. I was like, cool, yep, let's do it. I don't know. I really love like highlighting, you know, the kind of joyous side to those sad songs. And yeah, it was so fun to make that video, but like also just so funny. You know, the whole day we were just laughing, which is kind of a nice tonic to, you know, somewhat like heavy songs. It's nice to keep it kind of friendly and, you know, lift yourself back up again.
Of course, it is. I feel like it almost complements it, in a very lovely way that, as you've said, almost is that not the duality of like the heavy lyrical content and the light, but it does. It kind of helps it. I think if it was heavy video as well, it might come across as a totally different package.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I think like, I don't know, I enjoy things that feel a little unexpected, and you know, and like I've made, you know, my fair share of like indie videos that do what you expect, and I love that as a you know, I love those too, like the aesthetic kind of driven videos too, and there's a place for them for sure. But sometimes it's just like, fuck it. I don't know. There's no rules, so just do what you want. I figure
Exactly.
like, yeah, I feel like it's nice to just step out of the box sometimes.
100% agreed. And I think that in doing so, you find a more enjoyable way to do it for yourself as well, not just for people kind of consuming or watching the art. It's for you as well.
Oh, it's very much selfish. The 3-foot move was selfish.
Just something I wanted to tick off the list, and now I've done it.
I can do that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Phoebe, I was hoping you might talk to us about your touring. I think for a good portion of this year, you've been touring in the US and kind of playing shows over there. How have they been going? How are the US crowds kind of embracing you?
Oh, it's been so amazing. Like, truly one of the best experiences of my life. Like that tour with Christian Maroney and his band and his crew. That was like 5 weeks kind of thing on the road with them, and it was my first time really touring in the US. So my first experience of bus life, and just that number of shows. Like, I've never done that before. We don't do that in Australia. Everything's too far apart. But yeah, the people made it such a special thing, and I was on my own. I didn't take the band, so yeah, it was sick. The crowds were amazing. Like, I mean, I was playing to big rooms, and the tour was, I think, all sold out. So I was falling on a bunch of new ears, which is exciting to do. They all laughed at my accent, I think, every single night.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, I'd say g'day. I mean, I didn't say g'day. Maybe I did say g'day. Maybe that's why they laughed. But I said, hello, I'm Phoebe Go. Thanks for having me. That sort of thing. So happy to be here. And then there'd just be like this hum of chuckle across the room. And I think, I don't know, maybe they don't hear many Aussies coming through. Maybe it's just like they think it's ridiculous and adorable how we sound. I don't know. But there was this, I got used to it by the end, but it was funny.
In preparation for today, I'll admit, like, we like to try and consume as much knowledge, information as we can about the guest. And I did read, I think it was a review of the Boston show.
Right.
And that reviewer was talking about, like, the fact that the audience apparently found the Australian accent quite endearing, and that they took it on as, so it's interesting, I guess, reading that and then hearing your perspective of it as well. Yeah.
From where I'm standing, it's just 1,000 people laughing at me. But it was nice. No, it was nice. They were laughing in a nice way, I think. The crowds were awesome. They were so sweet. And, I was selling like T-shirts after I played every night. And I got to chat to a bunch of people, a bunch of the crowd. And, everyone was so lovely. They're like, come back soon. And I'm really excited to go back.
That's very, very exciting. I do want to ask, I know there are shows with Teenage Dads and Alexia and yourself across Australia in August, and very excited for those shows as well, because that is quite an exciting bill. Can we expect some headline shows of your own across Australia in support of the record?
Yes, I'll be doing Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, I think. And that's all slated in, but I'm not sure on specifics yet. But I would love to do. I always wanted to do some headline ones, just even if it's just a few, because it's a different feeling, and you kind of get to unravel a bit more on stage and do a few weirder things than than what you can do in a support role. But yeah, I'm so pumped for the Teenage Dads tour as well. It's going to be great.
We're an Adelaide-based podcast, so we'll be at the Adelaide Teenage Dad show, but we'll also, even if it is East Coast, we'll find our way across to a city to make sure we get to see one of the Marmalade headline shows. Even if it's just for, as you said, the unravelling, the weirdness that might come from the headline show. So I'm very excited for those. When they are announced, we'll make sure we put them in the podcast show notes and promote them across the channel.
Thanks.
Of course. Phoebe, we usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of on high rotation for yourself?
What have I been listening to? Do you know a band called Pax? I've been listening to their new record a lot lately.
I don't think I do. What kind of music?
PACKS. I'm just trying to check what the record's called. They're great. They're from Canada, and I've been rinsing their album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really cool. Also Slow Pulp, their new record, I've been loving this year. Really cool. Yeah, bunch nice. Of cool. Yeah.
Look, very solid choices. Phoebe, I very much appreciate you coming onto the podcast and chatting with us. Thank you so much for having a chat with us, and congratulations again on Marmalade. It is a fantastic record from yourself. It comes out later this week, but yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely to chat.
I just had a few drinks. I'm only driving home. I've done this before. I'll be fine. Right?
Driving high or drunk is a selfish choice that puts all of us at risk. Plan for a sober ride share, or Metro. DC police are arresting impaired drivers, so drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the DC Highway Safety Office, Metropolitan Police Department Chief Pamela A. Smith, and everyone you'll save by driving sober.